It is in fact a dead silver cluster leaf. Buffaloes seldom get this close to us. This is fantastic. Hello, boy. This is just so magnificent. I'm going to. He's got a bit of an injury on his scrotum, and I think that probably comes from the ticks that have done him a bit of an injury, and the oxpeckers have cleaned it up for him nicely. I've never been that close to buffalo before. That is really special. Look at all the flies. Look at all the flies. I'm sure that must have something to do with the fact that he's losing his hair there. A lot of these old bulls seem to lose their hair there. I think it's probably from rubbing, and that the flies actually prefer the bare skin. I can smell him. He's so close. Isn't that wonderful? It's a really spectacular sighting. I think we'll carry on now. See what else we can see. That's assuming I can start Wendy. She's now starting to complain every time I try and turn the key. We do put these Land Rovers through the ringer. And here are a whole lot more buffalo sitting in the setting sun. Say when, Andrew, if you want. There are a whole heap of them all around here. And this really is quite unusual because they're all bulls. There are no females here. I've seen one herd of buffalo since I've been here, and the rest have all been large herds of bulls. He's looking at Andrew with a serious look of disdain on his face. Now, what you'll find is that if the wind changes and he suddenly smells us, he'll react by snorting and then running off. But I think he's more hungry than he is worried. See a few more. There seem to be a whole lot more coming out of the woodwork. It's very pretty seeing them standing there in the light blue. Now setting sun. One of them is very nervous of us. You see he's missing a horn. Poor fellow. Hi, Beefy. And he'll have lost that having a fight somewhere. Probably over girls. It's a good lesson for all of us to learn. It's funny how it's actually really interesting how they have such individual personalities. We look at them and we see a herd and we think, well, you know, they must be all the same. But you saw how that one came right next to the vehicle, and you couldn't get within 50 feet of that, of the one that's walking away from us. very nervous. Right, I think we'll leave them to their beefalo ways. Zebra through there, which we're not going to make Andrew show us, because they're very hidden. Oxpeckers will go and find a spot in the dead tree somewhere for the night as soon as they've finished eating their ticks. He has an extremely tall animal with him, almost as tall as he is, and so we'll cross over to Brent and see you a little bit later.
3, 2. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, you can see there we've stumbled upon a male giraffe. Looks like male. Yes, male giraffe. Feeding, I can't exactly see what he's feeding on at the back there. Could be feeding on that bush willow, but can't really see from here. He's feeding behind a few bushes from where we are. Lovely late afternoon light in his face. Suddenly realized he's being watched. Just having a look at us to make sure we're not up to mischief. Having a good look at us. Quite a handsome fella. You see those wonderful long eyelashes on a giraffe. Help protect their eyes when they're feeding, just so they can feel things before they sort of put their head first into an acacia tree. We've all seen them eat those thorns in the acacia tree, so we know the inside of a giraffe's mouth is a bit like an old boot. Very curious, just having a good squiz at us. Now, when you see a giraffe looking like he's looking at us, when they're not looking at you in the bush, quite a good indicator that they've spotted something. With their height, they do spot lion and leopard quite often, and if you see a giraffe intently looking in a certain spot, there's a good chance there's something of interest that they've spotted in the grass. It's always worth having another look around there. So incredible to think that there's been in Africa the oldest fossilized record of a giraffe-like animal, or a giraffid, was from 22 million years ago in Libya. So that's a really, really interesting thing. So there's been giraffe-like animals, not saying in its current form, for about 22 million years. So unlike a lot of animals, where Africa is, the animals have made Africa their home, but they might have evolved and developed outside of Africa. And a very, very interesting adaptations that they have. Curious One on Twitter has noted they have very small ears for such a large animal. And that's probably because, Curious One, they are, with their extended height, they are able to see predators approaching and rely a little bit less on their hearing than they do on their eyesight, and they have very good eyesight. And he's listening intently to what I'm saying. So as I was saying about earlier, it's quite interesting. So giraffe has originated in Africa, whereas a lot of other species have originated out of Africa and then moved down during a period when the Africa and Europe was linked by land. Obviously a much drier period of the world, a much colder period of the world, when most of the water was trapped in the ice caps, and it caused a land bridge between Africa and the Middle East. And a lot of movement of animals went through that area, but giraffe are one of the few that have evolved completely in Africa, of the large sort of the larger animals we see. So I got an interesting question for you. So in the giraffe and two species. So although there are a lot of subspecies of giraffe described, they are still able to crossbreed and whatnot. So they are considered to be more one species with different color variations. There's always a lot of argument about this, with quite a lot of debate among scientists, but it's generally accepted that they are one species with different color variations. So in the giraffe family, there's only one other distinct species, and that lives in a completely different place, in the Central African rainforest. And I'm going to see if anyone can tell me what that is. It is also quite interestingly one of the last living African ungulates to be described or found by science. So who can tell me what giraffe's relative is one of the last living ungulates to be described by science? What is it? It lives almost entirely in what is today the Democratic Republic of Congo, between the river Congo and the river Cross. Who can tell me what animal that is? You can send your answers to questions@WildEarthTV, or you can use the hashtag SafariLive if you're on Twitter. So, Lynn, welcome on Sunset Safari. Lynn says this giraffe's neck seems very lumpy and bent strangely. Lynn, I don't think so. It also could be the angle. He's staying where we are now. You can see that's actually just the muscles when he turns to the side. And there are some bumps and lesions on the neck. There we go. He's going to bend down. Oh, he was waiting for you, Lynn, to do that. And there you go. When he turns sideways, the neck looks a lot sort of more normal, if you want to describe it. Those lesions on his neck there, as far as I know, are a fungal infection, but his neck doesn't seem too bad. Behind, he's going to move. Let us move to see if we can get a slightly better view of him. Let's see what he's going to do first. waiting to see where he moves to. Hi, Susan from Alabama. Susan would like to know, do giraffes make any sounds? Well, Susan, a lot of people think they don't, but I have heard giraffe make sounds, some low grunts and sort of moans, and that has been during doing game capture, and also during, oh, sorry, just give me a second, guys, and when I have seen lions hunting giraffe. I'm just going to try to see if maybe we can get a better view from lower down, and looking up at him from the bottom of the drainage line. He has stopped in a quite inconvenient position, but we might be able to catch a nice gap from below. There we go. So there he is. So yes, they do make sounds, but it's very uncommon. The other time I have heard them make sounds is when there have been lines attached to their behinds. So also a little interesting, the origin of the word giraffe and the name giraffe comes from an Arabic word, zirafa, which means the one who walks swiftly. And obviously with nice long legs like that, they can walk at quite a speed. And if we go to their Latin name, the second part of their Latin name is Camelopardilus. And it's said that it refers to their size and their markings. So as big as a camel and spotted like a leopard. Camelopardilus. They're actually huge animals. Sometimes we take for granted how big they are, and in their weights they can become very, very heavy. I think in this area the average weight for males is 1.2 tons. So that's heavier than most little cars, much heavier than most little cars. And females around 900 kilograms, 850 to 900 kilograms. Well done to Ray and Jilly and Kev and Donna, who got that relative of the giraffe correct. It is an Okara, African rainforests of the DRC. Lots more got it right, but those were the first two. Also, one of the animals that's probably very high up on the lists of animals I would love to see in my life, but probably one of the more difficult animals to see in the wild, in the world. Incredibly shy and retiring, and live in some of the most impenetrable forest, and also in a country that is not the most politically stable. Are giraffe loners like leopards? We normally see one at a time like leopards. No, Donna, they're not. They sort of work on a sort of harem system similar to zebra well, there'll be a male with a group of females. The males do tend to wander quite a bit through groups of females. They do not have a fixed set territory, but rather a home range. And the reason we don't see that many giraffe or big groups of giraffe here is because we do not have a lot of acacia woodland. We are dominated by sort of what they call broad-leaved woodland, which is combretum mostly, which is the bush willows. And although giraffe will eat it, oh, look at that, you just popped out of the bush. A little scrub hare right next to us. So, sorry, Donna, I just got sidetracked by a little hare that's just popped out of a thicket and started grazing right next to us. It's walking closer to the vehicle. Maybe this is the hare that Andrew scared. Oh. So guys, there's a little bit of an update that James wants to give you. So we're going to cross across to James quickly, and you'll be back with us a little later in the drive. So we'll see you just now. Enjoy your time with James.
Everyone, welcome back to Wendy. You find me hanging in the boughs of Pterocarpus angolensis, the only example of the tree that we found here. The reason I have climbed it is to try and retrieve one of these fruits, because I know Brent tried and almost ended himself coming down. In fact, I think it was going up. Now this is to prove that short men like me are in fact capable of things that large men like him are not. So we are going to leave you very shortly so that we can go and prepare for the fireside chat and send you back to Brent. And while you're gone, I'm going to attempt to retrieve one of these fruits, and if I do retrieve it, I shall show it to you at the fireside chat, and we shall watch Brent's face in dismay. I will see you in a few minutes.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, I think we're going to leave this giraffe gentleman who has not moved a muscle since we've been here, and let him continue on his evening stroll, and we're going to head down towards Twin Dams and then hopefully find some movement of other animals down around the eastern boundary. So we will say adieu to the giraffe and continue on. So I hear James has been making nonsense again. He is very good at making nonsense. You see, saying that I nearly fell out of a tree, so he had to climb a tree to prove that he could climb trees better than me. Very interesting, young James. What he probably failed to say is that it probably taken him the last 45 minutes, being a geriatric that he is, to get up the tree, and he probably had Andrew fetch a step ladder from the straw room back at the camp to be able to get up there, because he did manage to injure himself on the touch rugby field today. So I definitely think he had some help in climbing that tree this evening. From Markham in Canada. Welcome on the Sunset Safari, Lynn. Lynn would like to know, what is the purpose of the horns on a giraffe? Well, Lynn, they use them as bludgeons, basically. When two male giraffe fight, they will bludgeon each other. So those horns are actually just bone, but are covered by quite a a thin layer of very hard skin, and so what happens is they will stand off opposite each other like this, and they'll swing around and basically bludgeon each other, and it is with enough force sometimes that they can kill each other when they are fighting over females. So that is the purpose of the horns on the giraffe. Here we have quite an interesting plant that I'm going to jump out. This one isn't flowering at the moment. But we saw one of these on Drive in Arathusa a while ago, and it stumped me. But we did manage to find out, and thank you to those viewers who sent me in what tree this is. It is called thorn, a narrow-leaved kalanchoe. It had those very beautiful flowers, but this hasn't opened yet. So it is a succulent. So it's going to hold the moisture throughout the winter months. So quite nice to... Sorry, sounded like I heard something stalking me there. But anyway, quite nice, so we'll keep an eye on this particular one, right nice and close to the road. So we'll wait for these flowers to burst, and they're wonderful yellow and red flowers. John from Connecticut. Welcome on Sunset Safari, John. John would like to know how far we are from the Sand River. As the crow flies, John, probably up no more than 5 or 6 kilometers. So we're now back on the southern boundary, which we know is there's a lot of movements of the cats, lions and leopards around this area. So we're going to go in and have a closer look, see if there are any tracks. Right time of the day for the cats to start moving. wondering whether we were able to identify the caterpillars Scotty and I saw on a sunset safari a while ago while we were tracking a male leopard. Well, Julia, we did. We're just going to wait a few seconds and we're going to show you a quick clip for those of you who might have missed that caterpillar, and then I will tell you what wonderful sunset in front of us. Run. And it is stunning. This is one of my favorite roads on Djuma. It traverses north-south on the edge of this wonderful sea line, and you got magnificent vistas from here. Also, I've had a lot of success with leopards in this area, and some really memorable sort of leopard sightings in this area, with both Quarantine and Djuma. So a little bit of reminiscing as we slowly amble down Drakensberg Road. So Julia, I'm just waiting to hear when we're going to pop that clip of the caterpillars on for those who might have missed it. And I'm going to take this opportunity, if there are any new viewers here, welcome. You're on a live African safari with me, sitting on the back of my game drive vehicle as we search for the wonders of Africa. And you're seeing everything I'm seeing at the same time. Questions at WildEarthTV, or you can use the hashtag Safari Live if you're on Twitter. Okay guys, sounds like everyone's ready. We're going to let you see a quick clip of those caterpillars for those who might have missed it. So there was quite a lot of debate about those caterpillars. We weren't sure what they were. We knew they were definitely part of the emperor moth family, and unfortunately I don't have a good picture of them. I didn't have them in my book, but you can have a look. It is called a pallid emperor moth. So they were the larvae of a pallid emperor moth. Quite interestingly, they occur from way up in Ghana all the way down to southern Africa and through the Congos, and in Ghana and Cameroon, and I think Democratic Republic of Congo, they are eaten. So they are an edible caterpillar species. Thank goodness we didn't know that then, and you guys might have tried to make me eat it. Thank goodness we did not know that. But other than that, they're also called a shea defoliator in Ghana, because they can get plagues of them that literally defoliate the whole tree of all its leaves. So there we go, and we actually had to send a picture of that off to one of the insect experts to get that ID'd, as none of us seemed to know what it was. apparently there's quite a lot of chitter chatter on the Twitter sphere going on about honey badgers and hoping they're still around. I unfortunately haven't heard anything further on them, but they do tend to appear at the most strange times, so who knows? Maybe they'll pop up around the next corner. Quiet this afternoon, but still a magnificent evening, and always great to be out in the bush, even if there's none of the big and hairies and scaries to look at. Lipty would like to know where should she go to watch the campfire video. Lipty, like our drives, the campfire discussion about all the highlights is live. So you just stay tuned in right where you are, and as soon as the drive ends, James will be standing by to welcome you to the campfire, and then Scott and I will arrive a little later, a minute or two later, and so you just stay exactly where you are, Lipty. And we're going to start heading west slowly towards that warm campfire, hoping we can find something on the way. A little nip in the air now. I think it's going to be quite cold tomorrow. Might have to get my hot water bottle ready tonight. Maybe even more than one hot water bottle. So, just decided to come check and also show Scott where that African hawk eagle nest was. Doesn't look like anyone's at home at the moment, but also just nice. Scotty also knows where it is, so he can check when he's on drive. And we did have a pair of them there a few mornings ago. Just take my binos, you never know. Oh, sorry, let me just roll forward a little bit for you there. There we go. Let's take my binos and double check that there's not a head sticking up. Not that I can see from here, but that doesn't mean that it is quite a big nest, so the heads could be down. But just letting Scotty know where the hawk eagle nest is, and so we can all check on it when we come through this area in the mornings. For those of you who might not have been on that sunrise safari, we found a pair of African hawk eagles in that nest, and it is possible that they might have chicks or an egg at this time of the year, so we'll keep a close lookout on what's happening around that nest. Thank you very much, friends. My pleasure, Scott. Hi, Alice from Ohio. Welcome on Sunset Safari, Alice. Alice would like to know, do my parents watch me on Drive? Unfortunately not, Alice, because they're on Game Drive at the exact same time. So they'll actually be out in an open Game Drive vehicle on the reserve they live in looking for animals. So they are on their own Game Drive while we're on the live Game Drives. So you guys, I'm about to go through a bit of a dip here. It is possible we might have a bit of signal breakup. So just bear with me for a few seconds and we'll be through it as quick as possible. Okay, just through we are. Just hyena tracks. Oh, it's this time of the day when the predators are getting moving, and I always get a little bit excited that you never know, a leopard could just step out of the bush in front of you, or a lion might just appear, start calling close by. I know a lot of you guys like to follow the Nkahuma Pride, and they have made a buffalo kill to the north of us, so they're going to be happy fat cats. The only unfortunate thing is it means we're not going to be seeing them for a while they finish off that buffalo. To fireside chat, guys, so remember, stay tuned and you'll see Scotty, James and myself having a chat about what's been happening on Djuma and Arathusa in the last week or so, and taking some questions from you guys that you might not normally be able to give on Game Drive. So keep sending those questions in to Final Control and they can get a few in store for once we get there. Remember to send the questions to questions@WildEarthTV or use the hashtag SafariLive if you're on Twitter. So we're about to go into another one of those little drainage lines, so bear with me for a few seconds. You can really feel the chill in the bottom of those drainage lines now. Temperature drops by a degree or two down there. Celsius, of course. another false alarm. There was another, it was actually a hyena bush this time. So at least it's changed from the leopard and lion bush. We have a hyena bush instead. All the Franklins making a lot of noise before they go to bed. Up ahead we have one of the last of the buffalo bulls leaving Gari Dam and heading up to the crest where it's going to be slightly warmer. You can see quite a few of them spread through here. Here's the old Stragda. Oh, he looks like he's got a bit of a sore leg. Hello, old man. Can see a bit stiff in the back leg there, making him a little bit more nervous. He definitely doesn't trust us. Oof, to you too, my friend. So they're all heading up away from the water, up to the top of the crests, where it's a little bit warmer. Especially with these older animals, a really big cold snap it can kill them if they are particularly ill or carrying injury or whatnot, and so they'll try and move to warmer areas at this time of the year. It is spoonbill.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there's a nice one. I have definitely not seen them since I've been here. Incredible. African spoonbill. Feeding at Gari Dam. You can see how they are moving their head from side to side, using that spoon-shaped bill to sieve and catch little fish and crustaceans. Here we go, you can see the spoon there nice and clearly. Isn't that wonderful? Scotty, have you seen them here before?
I've seen them fly over.
Okay, awesome. So
Scott, I've seen you on the waterhole cam this morning.
Okay, where are they?
But before I got you, they left.
So at least we caught them this evening.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Such nice light and getting some African spoonbills. So they'll fly around and look for bodies of water that are drying up, which makes it, oh, you can see the fish escaping there. That was a bit big for them. There we go. Oh, whatever that was small and down the gullet very quickly. So they will fly around and look for these drying bodies of water at this time of the year and feed on them. And they'll move from these different things until they feel like they've utilized the food source. They might come back once it's even drier, and other areas that are too deep will be more accessible to them. Sometimes you can get massive flocks as well. Tonight we are very happy just to have two. Oh, big predatory bird. I just caught a glimpse of the wings coming in behind them. It's just landed there as an eagle. Oh, very difficult to see in this light. Ah, yeah. Nice, Scotty. I'm trying to see what big predatory bird he's landed in that dead tree. No. And that's what scared the spoonbill off. I have seen, I didn't actually see it catch it, but I have seen a fish eagle that has a spoonbill in it. Just have a quick look. It's just on the edge of that tree. I just saw him land there.
Where about?
Okay, see those two dead trees?
Yeah.
On the right-hand tree, on the left-hand side.
Right-hand tree.
Okay. I want to say left hand from that one. So the bigger one to the left. There we go, that one there. Now, if we go up to the right, up to the top left. There, you see him there, just moving. I can't see. Stop there, center frame.
Okay, I think that looks like a heron. Let me just fix the iris.
I think that maybe that. Yeah, it looks like it might be a heron. I think those spoonbills might have just got a fright where they saw a big bird flying in. And I saw a Haida ibis disappear behind it quickly there. But no, actually it is a heron. So I think what happened is those spoonbills got a fright rather than anything, and they saw big sort of wings coming in. And I have seen them being fed on by fish eagle before. I'm not sure whether the fish eagle actually caught them.
That was a bit of a roller coaster for the camera. Apologies for that.
Hi, Nigel. Nigel would like to know, when did the Nkumas make a kill? As far as I know, not last night, the night before, from what I've heard. And I think Debbie's also got a question. I'm not quite sure what you mean. Debbie, are you asking whether we are allowed to go to Buffalo's Hook, or are the lions allowed to go to Buffalo's Hook? Well, if it's the lions are allowed to go wherever they would like. It's a free system. It's an open system, and they are able to move between all the different properties. As in terms of us, unfortunately, we are not allowed to go to Buffalo's Hook at this time. It is outside our Travis area. And we are blessed with the Travis area we do have, and hopefully those Nkuhumas will be back soon. Well, it seems like it's a lot quieter than it was last night. All the leopards sawing around here. But I think it's time to head across to the fireside and join James, and Scotty and I are going to shoot across to try and get there as soon as possible.